Hey guys, it's Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Hey, listen, today I'm going to talk about a topic that's so scandalous, it'll probably make your head spin. So, today I'm going to be talking to you about the battle of the sexes with money. It is the top 7 reasons couples clash. Stop battling with each other and start building. Make your life great on purpose. Without further ado, let's get started. You see, the financial emergency at home is a real thing. How many of you know, and I can say this truthfully, having been married for 32 years, there is always some contentment, or as we like to say, some intense conversation to money arguments. See, money arguments are rarely about the dollars we spend, but they're about that fear and that identity and security that people are interested in when it comes to being together. See, money impacts trust and intimacy. It allows, especially, conflicts about alignment, especially when it comes to raising children, of how couples will get along. Normally, people will go to marriage counseling prior to getting married. Um, we did not. So I'm speaking a little bit from what I had going on when I got married some 30 some years ago. And with many couples, what you actually see is you actually see that they really don't have a good communication when it comes to money. So, what I want to talk to you about is I want to talk to you about what is your mission as a couple? How do you relate to each other without being too emotional? And how do you make the math math? So, without further ado, let's look at reason number 1. Reason number 1, financial conditioning. You see, when you talk about financial conditioning, what you're talking about is a different and money upbringing. Now, this is not taking anything away from whether you have both parents in the house or whether you only had one or whether you were taken care of by a grandparent or aunt and uncle. This is about your upbringing. If you grew up with the mindset of scarcity versus abundance, there's a big difference. And just because you had a two-parent household does not mean you had abundance. Just because you were a single parent means that you had scarcity. So I want you to think about this real deeply about your specific upbringing prior to you getting married or now as you being married. Now, I'm not talking about domestic partners, okay? Because you have a choice of whether you want to be married or not married. But once you get married, I hope you decide to stay married and money is not an issue. But what we do know is that emotional triggers are tied straight to our childhood. Now, a lot of you know that my father passed away a year ago, actually, as of March the 15th. So his day of death is coming up soon, that 1 year mark. And so I was thinking about him and I was thinking about my mom and him, and they were married almost, let's see, they got married when I was 3. So they were married um, 50 some years. So, because I'm 55 now. So, almost 50. So, no, 50. So I would say to you is that I experienced a lot of things watching my parents handle money. My dad was pretty much old school. Um, and I pretty much grew up old school. And so we handle money differently. And I want you to start thinking about how did you watch your parents or whoever took care of you majority of your life handle money? Were they secret about it? Did they talk to you about it? there are some actual triggers that people have now studied in the financial planning arena, which talk about the psychological aspects of money. And so, I want you to think about this for a second, that you probably spend money based off of what you saw. It's typically not what you know, it's what you see, right? So there are some emotional triggers that are tied to childhood. Like if you've always heard your parents say, "What do you think? Money grows on trees?" Well, actually, it does grow on trees. They use paper until we go to a digital dollar. But what I want you to think about this is that our reactions when it comes to money is what we give off to our children. I think my children think money is very abundant because whenever they asked for something, I gave it to them. And I don't know how good that was, but in my mindset, I grew up where if I asked for it, my mom was a teacher, later a principal. My dad was a minister, very humble beginnings. Money was not abundant to us. Okay, they had some businesses and things that they did, but it wasn't readily available where they would be like, "Hey, let's go splurge." That's not how I grew up. Okay, now my wife's upbringing, she had a single mom, and her mom was a go-getter, and whenever she wanted something, her mom got it for her. The latest and greatest clothes. Me was not that case. So I'm just going to say that you have to remind yourself that your number one reason that we see in couples where couples fail is because they don't look at their financial conditioning, how they've been brought up financially, right? And then the second thing is risk tolerance. Now, for some of you, generally speaking, men often lean more aggressively financially than women, right? Because yes, we want to be the protector, but we realize we got to go get it. So we have that growth mindset, and women typically, not all, have a security mindset. Men, we're thinking about what's going to happen 3 to 4 to 5 years, maybe 10 years out. Women are looking at what's happening right now. Now, women, if you disagree, you can put your comments in the chat and we can have a nice conversation about it. And we can agree to disagree agreeably. But I typically know men who are protectors and providers tend to be more of futuristic. They don't just think about now. Not all of them. Okay. I'm quite sure there's some out there that do just think about now. And so what we need to do as couples is we need our thoughts about money and our risk tolerance to align with one another so that there's peace in the household. Now, as my pastor always says, people don't have a money problem, they have a management problem. And so when we talk about managing, and I'm going to say this respectfully, whether you are a guy or a girl, a man or a woman, your management issue is probably based off of something that you were exposed to in that first reasoning, how you were raised when it dealt with money. You see, one wants to invest and grow fast, and then the other wants the emergency savings and the security. And so what happens is there is a battle going on between the mother and the father, or the father and the mother, depending on how they were raised, on how they see risk when it comes to the money. And so I just want you to think about that for a second. At the end, I got a gift for you if you DM me that I'm going to send out to you free of charge. You just got to give me your name and your email, and you can get this gift, which I believe will help some of you, especially newlyweds, or for us old timers, help you get some guidance on how to communicate better when it comes to your money. The next thing is reason number 3. It's spending priorities. Is it an asset or is it an experience? Now, I say this respectfully when I say this to you, okay? Assets are things you own, right? Ask yourself what matters most, right now? Is it assets, experience, security? Those are the things you need to ask yourself. Is it business? Is it upgrading your home? What do you consider an asset? See, if you don't clarify with your spouse your shared priorities and assumptions, something's going to take over. And then it's going to ensue on being an argument. Now, how do we get away with making assumptions? Because we know that assumptions are assuming, and it makes a blank out of you and me, right? So when we look at assets versus experience, a business versus a home security, what matters most right now? Now, obviously, you want food, shelter, clothes, and you want that security of knowing that your bills are paid. But after that, do you have any cash flowing opportunities? Now, I want you to think about this for a second. A lot of you, and I'm going to use this loosely, but a lot of you shop on a certain place where they will drop ship your items the same day, especially if you are a Prime member. Now, some of you are part of different consumer programs or programs where you get priority shipping. Now, obviously you have Alibaba, you have Amazon, you have Nike, you have Adidas, you got all these different brands that have their own priority shipping. And they will ship to you as long as there is a credit card on file. But this is the question. If you're getting a box every week, because you don't want to go to the store, but you saw it online, you had the impulse to press that button, are you looking for an experience, maybe that high of getting the shopping, or is it an asset? Now, if you can write the item off, maybe you are a person who uses certain items in their business, and it is a write-off, and you can actually write that item off, depreciate it, then yeah, maybe, right? But if you're just buying just to buy because you want to look good, now that's a problem. The fourth reason is we have communication gaps. See, money is math. Marriage is emotional. And see, what I need you to understand is that many men approach money as a spreadsheet problem. And many women connect money to security as well as emotional safety. Now, not all women think that way and not all men think that way. I just need to get that out there, all right? Before some of you call me up on my phone or some of you DM me saying, I don't think that way and I'm a woman. So let me correct that. There is a high percentage of people who monitor money based off of a spreadsheet, and there is a high number of people who value money as security and emotional safety. It all leads to number one, how you were raised. And so defensive money conversations are important. Money is math. And sometimes for some of y'all, your math is not mathing. And marriage is emotional. I don't know how many people got married based off of logic. It's emotional. When you plan a wedding, is it based off of logic or is it based off emotion? Now, as a father of a daughter who's the number one child, she will probably be the one that gets married first. As a matter of fact, I almost assume that, right? So what does that emotionally say to my wife and I? That we will probably need to prepare for something. Some form of pitch in for it because she's older, or some type of magnificent gift. But it's not going to be based off emotion. It's going to be based off of love and money, right? Because that's the thing when you get married, right? So when you look at logic and then you dismiss emotion, conflicts escalate. When you look at emotion, and ignore the math, stress increases. But you need both. You need somebody to be logical and you need somebody to be emotional. Remember, we're a team here, right? And so you got to understand when your spouse, whoever that may be, husband or wife, says to you, hey, maybe we need to just take a 10-minute pause. In our family, what we say is we won't sleep on it. And what that basically means is we're going to talk about it. And if it's over a certain amount, I think our limit has gone up over years. Used to be, if it was $50, now I think it's like something like $500. We're going to think about it. But my point is that over time, we don't make major purchases without consulting one another. Now, I will back up. When I bought my Ducati, my motorcycle, and I bought my Mustang, the 66 Mustang, my wife said to me, she was like, it's better for you to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, huh, Mr. Barnes? And I knew with that tone what she meant. She meant that I was not communicating about those purchases. I just went and did it because I felt like I deserved it. I worked hard. I somehow, however, when she decided she wanted to purchase a new vehicle, she asked me to crunch the numbers. She wanted to make sure that I was on board with what she was doing. Me, I had the bullhead and I didn't do that, right? I didn't come to her and say, hey, babe, what do you think about me getting blah, blah, blah? Because I always wanted blah, blah, blah. I just did it. Now, is that correct? No, it is not. And that causes a lot of anguish. Maybe not in everybody's situation, but if you are barely making it and you're making decisions that affect the other partner, that could possibly put them in bankruptcy or possibly put them in a situation of where they're stressed, shame on you. Remember, money is math, marriage is emotional. And while I'm on this point, for some of you that are single and you're older single, what I mean by older single, like I was married at 23 and she was 21, straight out of college. You got to understand this. You got to really understand that marriage is a teamwork, and teamwork make dream work. And if you're not on one page, but you're on two separate pages, the pages are not talking to one another. So it has to be you guys. And I know some of you, this is going to sound very, very, very traditional. But here's the thing. My pastor says it great. He was like, a lot of y'all can swap spit and other bodily fluids, but you can't put your money together. That be a problem. So if you are having a problem where you can't put your money together, but you can trade bodily fluids and have babies and grow up babies to be grown, you might want to rethink who's being selfish in the relationship. Is it because you don't want people to know how bad it is? Matter of fact, if you don't know your spouse's credit score, that's a problem. You see, especially when you start doing business, my wife and I are doing a business right now where we have to communicate. Have to. We have no choice. A lot of you will never go into business with each other, but you will swap bodily fluids with each other because you don't trust each other with your money. You're hoarders. You have the no communication. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. I know somebody's going to DM me saying, that's me. Number 5, power and control. Who earns more money? Who controls the accounts? Who makes the financial decisions? Those are the things you got to ask yourself. If the money becomes leverage instead of a partnership or unity, the unity suffers. See, the goal is not dominance. And, I actually need to write a book about this because there's a lot of people in relationships where the spouse, and I'm not saying it's just a man, has taken over the finances, and they make the person feel like a slave financially. The goal is mission alignment. In a strong household, money serves the mission, not the ego. Now, a lot of you that I'm speaking to, you probably have a spouse that makes a good living. Some of you may even have a spouse that makes, 2 times, 3 times, maybe 4 times as much as you. Or maybe just, another $25,000 or $30,000 more than you. That doesn't lead to control. What that means is that person's a good income earner. Okay? The income differences that I'm talking about is that instead of who controls the account, maybe one person pays the bills, but you both need to be talking about the bills. It's a decision-making authority problem that most of you have. It builds tension. And the way that you get around that, and I have a solution for you, it's called the financial positioning system. And I'll talk about that a little later. But it allows both of you on the app to look at where you're at, and y'all can be in agreement. Like, that's a real thing, people. Being in agreement. Because what you're in agreement in, nobody can tear y'all down. And while I'm on this point, I know you respect your moms and dads, your aunties, your uncles, your grandparents. I know you understand your friends and your loved ones, your brothers, your sisters, especially if you're older. This is what I want you to do. Instead of talking to them about your money issues, talk to your spouse. Because what happens is when you're talking to everybody but your spouse, everybody else know your business but your spouse. Now make that make sense. How is that fair? And then you're judging that individual based off of information that she or he or she don't know about. And then every time your family members come around, they judging them and they don't know why they got their nose stuck up at them. It's probably because you've been talking to the wrong people about your money. It should be you, your spouse, financial advisor, financial first responder, financial planner, somebody that's the referee, not a person that's more ignorant than you are. Not saying you're ignorant to finance, because you're probably highly intelligent, but it ain't the same. I meet a lot of engineers and doctors and lawyers, and they all real smart till I ask them what certain things are, and then they like, oh no, that's what we talking to you for. Okay, well, let me do what I do, and I'll let you do what you do. Got it? Got it. Financial secrets. You see, that hidden debt, that secret credit card, that disclosed spending, you think you playing a game. I call it financial infidelity. It destroys trust faster than most realize. Transparency builds safety. Safety builds unity, and unity builds wealth. A lot of you can't build wealth because you do not communicate financially. You want to build up something special with your spouse and stop these broken trust cycles? Try being transparent. Understand that the way that you get where you need to be financially is some transparency. Not hiding it. Not looking at the fact that you are the better person because I got a secret and you don't know it. That doesn't help. Not at all. Reason 7, vision misalignment. One partner wants early retirement, the other wants a simpler lifestyle, one wants business ownership, and of course, the other wants stability. If your 5-year vision doesn't align, your monthly budget never will. Matter of fact, I don't even call it a budget. Vision first, budget second. See, most of you say, well, I want to retire. And most of you can't tell when your spouse wants to retire. It's two things I know. If you keep living, you're going to spend money. And at some point, you're going to die. And so at some point, you have to have that vision, like we wear glasses, right? To help us have better vision. It has to be in line with your spouse, because you will never be on some type of budgetary spending situation until you are both aligned with how to do it. You see, I'm going to be introducing to you guys later the financial positioning system. And I can tell you there's nobody out there that's training it like this. But once you get it, you will solve all your financial problems. I promise you that. Because financial alignment framework is very important. Now, we're probably saying this in such a way where I hope you understand it, but you have to create a mission statement, a financial mission statement. You have to hold structured monthly money meetings. You need to use a unified dashboard so partners see the full picture, i.e., the financial positioning system. You need to set forth long-term goals, financial goals, and you need to structure or build structure that reduces stress. Clarity builds confidence. Now, my call to action is this. The first thing is, and this is the mission should you accept it. I need you to go to TrueNorthAdvisoryLLC.com. I need you to build your financial positioning system by going to the links that I've posted here. Now, True North Advisory LLC is my company, and you can email me if you want an appointment, and we can get on a virtual calendar and we can talk. I will send you the calendar and we'll figure out what's a good time for us to talk. But right now, if you're interested in the financial communication reset worksheet, free of charge, I need you to give me your last name and your first name and your email, and I'll send it to you for free. DM me in this chat, okay? And say, hey, I want that. It's a two-pager. Say two-pager. I will need you to sit down with your spouse and ask each other these questions. Or better yet, if you want to play a game, have a glass of wine or your favorite beverage, maybe milk or coffee if you drink milk, almond milk, whatever it is. Sit down for date night, give each other this form, y'all fill it out, and then switch it with the other person and say, hey, I'm going to read over this, and anything that is not clear to me, I'm going to ask questions. That is a good way to start. We're going to get better with our money habits, because if you want to live based off of God's purpose, you got to start with first serving Him and then serving one another. And the way that you serve one another is be transparent. Financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Not necessarily in that order. But I say that in just, oh yeah, this has been for educational purposes only. Please like and subscribe my channel. This is Mike Barnes, a financial first responder. I do have my alma mater on. Wrong way. Why are you going that way? My alma mater, North Carolina Central University. Go Eagles. And I will see you on the beaches of the world. This is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. God bless. And DM me in the chat. Get your financial communication reset worksheet. And let's get started. If not, if you want the financial positioning system, click the link above and we'll get right with you. Take care and God bless.